Okay, in this game I play Camille. I actually play a mid lane. She's not a mid lane champ, but I feel like it's a lot easier to get used to her abilities mid lane, especially against AD champs like Talon, just because she is a difficult champion to play, and I'm just trying to learn her as best as I can before I go top lane and fight harder champs.
Mediocre at best.
So her usual rune build is the Resolve rune set as a secondary, but I use Domination as my secondary mid lane just because I don't need the extra health and the extra defense. I also think Domination works really well with Camille because late game with Ravenous Hunter, lifesteal becomes really important, and it becomes really useful when going into battles, especially team battles with Camille. So Domination works really well with her. So I went into that battle with a much lower health than Talon, and you can do that with Camille because her passive actually grants her a shield of, I think, 10% of her maximum health, and that shield is based on the type of damage the opposing champion deals. So a breakdown of her abilities. Her Q allows her next basic attack to deal bonus damage as well as granting her a little bit of movement speed. Her Q can have a second cast, where if you second cast the Q after 1.5 or 2 seconds, then it deals additional damage, and you can tell that the second cast is ready because you see a glow around Camille after the first Q. I'm often patient enough to wait and use the second cast against minions, but late game against champions I get a bit too impatient, and against champions late game I just go for quick fire and I don't have the patience to wait. So I'm still learning that. Camille's W is a cone-shaped blast, where in the outer half of the cone shape enemies are slowed, and also Camille heals for a portion of the damage dealt to enemy champions. Her E is a hook shot, so she hooks herself onto basically any vertical terrain, such as turrets, inhibitors, walls, etc. And it also stuns the champion for about a second if I hit a champion after coming off the wall. So it's a great way to chase down champs, and it's also a great way to get some damage dealt against a stunned enemy champion. I think Zac is coming up for a gank right now, and this should be a perfect opportunity to use the hookshot that I was just mentioning. So hopefully I can land this one. That's a perfect way to catch him by surprise. Now the hookshot is actually, I think I learned this game or the previous game that the hookshot actually allows Camille to jump through walls and through different structures if the structure is thin enough. So for example, these walls mid lane, I can jump through them with my hookshot. I can jump through turrets, through inhibitors, but some walls in the jungle are a bit too thick for me to jump through. So the great thing about the hookshot, not only does it stun, but it's also, you can catch your enemy out by surprise with it because it's just so quick-paced. I think you have about a second before you have to jump off the wall, so you have about a second to pick the direction in which you want to jump. Now a lot of the times I do miss my hookshot. I don't get the champ, especially when they're moving. I find it a bit difficult, so it is tricky to interpret where the enemy champ is going to move and base your jump off that. So I'm still trying to learn off that. But the gank against Talon there, it wasn't so hard to aim at him because he wasn't moving so much. I now max out my E before anything else. So I go for maxing out my E, then my Q, then W. I often use my W to poke the enemy champion because I can deal damage from a reasonable distance. I don't have to engage in a trade to cast my W, so it's a nice way to poke the champ as well as gain my health if I need to. Camille's ultimate traps the enemy champion within a hexagon, and not only are they trapped within that hexagon for a few seconds, but I also deal additional magic damage with my basic attacks when they're in that hexagon. You'll see me use Camille's ultimate not only when the enemy has high health, but even when they have half to low health, because the ultimate isn't just a way to deal bonus damage, but the main part about it is to stop the enemy from escaping. So if the enemy champion is too close to their turret, or if I'm near the enemy base where they can just jump over the wall or go through the wall where we can't, if there's any situation where I want to block off the enemy champion from safety, I will use my ultimate on them. So that can be for ganks, that can be to prevent them from getting into their base, that can be for preventing them to get into their turret zone, any of those things. So in that situation, I was able to escape death just because I know my hook shot can allow me to jump through walls. So I used that pretty strategically there, so I was really happy about that. She died way too quickly to do anything really. So again, that hook shot, I timed that at the point where I saw Ezreal wasn't really moving much, so it made it less likely that I would miss. And a 1 second stun doesn't really sound like much, but it's actually a very long time when you have 3 or 4 teammates around. Especially with Camille, because using Camille's Q, you can actually get 2 to 3 basic attacks within a second, especially with some items. So a 1 second stun is actually a very long time against Camille. That's all she needs for a good trade. So again, I used my hookshot to get me out of battle. I hooked myself onto the turret, and I got myself through the turret somehow. I don't know how that should work, but it does. So you can get through turrets, you can get through any type of wall with an approximate thickness of a turret. So fighting against Talon, I know that he's got 3 attacks. If he lands 3 abilities or 3 attacks on me, within a certain period of time, I take a lot of bonus damage, and I want to avoid that, so every time Talon gets 2 attacks on me, I always back up. So that was a use of her ultimate. And I can pretty much take down Talon one-on-one any chance I get, but I need to make sure he's not too close to his turret. So when he went down into the jungle there, I knew that he was trapped. The reason why I use my ultimate with Talon a lot more than anyone else is because I know Talon's passive allows him to jump over walls. and I want to prevent that from happening because then he can evade death. Also, Camille is one of the few champions where you can use her Q on the turret, so make use of that. Almost got the kill there. I knew I was going to be dead, so I just tried to get a takedown myself, but missing my hook shot against Lilia there, it made the difference between me getting a takedown and not. So that's why landing your hook shot is so important, and it's such a crucial part of Camille's kit. And now I feel like I have a little bit more freedom to roam because I've taken out the first turret. I thought I'd go help Set, but I didn't make it in time. Alright, there's 3 of us, so I'm not worried about them. That's 1 down. Lilia just got away. She had very low health. I don't know why Ezreal came back, she shouldn't have. So early on in this game, my CS wasn't so good. Now I think it's improved by a lot. I'm averaging around 5 to 6 per minute, which is what I'm looking for. It would be nice to improve on that. I'd be looking around at least 6 a minute, otherwise you'd never get an S. So I think in this game, I got an A+. I didn't get the S because my CS was quite bad late game. I actually went on to roam a lot and I disregarded my CS, so that was bad. So I think what was crucial for that takedown was my W, which, like I mentioned, is a cone-shaped blast, and if they're caught in the outer half, it slows them down. So we just about got the kill because she was slowed down enough just before she got to her turret. I thought I would avoid that battle with Talon just there. I felt like I didn't have the health and I didn't have my hook shot ready. It was still on cooldown, so I didn't want to go into a battle where I don't have the upper hand. Alright, so I thought I'd go help Miss Fortune out, but I saw her a bit too late. She was already taken out before I could get to her. It's important for Camille to start trades with her hook shot because that would allow her to get an advantage before they could even start attacking. Just like that. So I was able to start that trade with my hook shot, got almost half her health taken out before she could even attack me. That's why it's so important. So I thought she was going to keep going straight, so I landed my hook shot there, but I missed, and that cost us a takedown. So it's these prediction shots that are really important, and I hope to master them with Camille over time. No, I had no chance there. I think we hung around a bit too long. We were very deep into the enemy jungle when we shouldn't have been, so that was a very fair death. Alright, so mid lane's still doing well. Thought I'd go help our bottom lane. At least I got my quick revenge on Talon. I don't even bother with Ezreal because I know that Mordekaiser would kill her. Oh, she shouldn't have come back. She hung around a bit too long there. She got overconfident. I ignited her because I thought that she was going to blast herself into her area. Oh, it was just about thin enough for me to jump through, and that was perfectly timed as well. So I'm really happy about that hook shot. Again, so that was perfectly timed hook shot. But she's a bit too close to her turret. I don't have enough mana here, so probably looking to go back and reset. So the items that I build with Camille are Trinity Force, Death's Dance. I'll go for Ravenous Hydra as well as my third big item. And if I can, throughout the game, if it lasts long enough, I'll go for a Sterak's Gauge. I thought I'd save Zach there. And he just about lived. So if you saw there, I was actually risking death there just by trying to chase her. So hook shot was essential in that takedown. I could have died before I got the kill if I didn't go for that. So hook shot is her most crucial ability by far. So at this point, our team is doing better than theirs, but Vayne is looking a bit dangerous with 8 kills. I don't know why no one went for that turret. It was one hit away from death, so... Oh, hook shot her invisible body. I'm proud of that one. Alright, 2 for 3. So not bad, but could have been better. I know that Lilia's there, but I feel like Set can handle her while I take this straight. Perfect. I am legendary. Talon's bottom alone, just tantalizing, so I'm gonna go for him. Don't have my ult, so hopefully I can get him. Camille has 3 abilities with crowd control, so she is a really good champ. It's difficult to escape from Camille. That was a gamble that I took, just thinking that Ezreal was in that bush, because I saw her in the mini-map and she just disappeared, so I just took the gamble and it paid off. I could have just used my hook shot through the wall there, completely forgot about it, so I went around for some reason, but it was good enough. Mordekai's is throwing question marks on the map, saying, how'd you get through that wall? He shouldn't have come back. 3 of us there was no chance. Right, they've lost 2 inhibitors now, so we're pretty close to a win. We just need a couple of takedowns. I think there were 2 of them running from 3 of their team. Oh, I didn't make it in time, so... Oh, I'm not going into that.
Second guess yourself. You will still be wrong.
Okay, so here I just went to see where they went, and they were just channeling, so I took my opportunity. And Lilia just left her partner.
Where are you going? His turret has been destroyed.
So here, I learnt my lesson from last time, and I knew that I could use the hook shot through the wall, so I just did it there. That was a lot easier. And that should be game over. And for some reason I went back for her. I don't know why. That was just a lot of overconfidence from me, but doesn't hurt my ratio too much. I'm still 19-3-11. And that's the game.